Mac users finally have another option for live streaming, Streamlabs OBS or OBS Studio. Today I'm going to go through the differences between these two softwares and the pros and cons of each. So let's get to it. If you're always looking for tools, tips, and tricks to help you become a better YouTuber, subscribe to the channel and click that bell so you know when we have new content that comes out. Now I have a little secret for you. Streamlabs OBS is actually built on the bones of OBS Studio. OBS Studio is an open source software, and so Streamlabs OBS just took that source and created a really nice interface around it with some add-ons. And in some ways, the interface makes Streamlabs OBS really easy to use, and some of the added features are really cool. But essentially, you can do the exact same thing in either software. It's just a product of which one is best for you. So let's jump right in. For this video, I'm going to do a little back and forth feature comparison between each of the softwares, and I'm going to start with Streamlabs OBS layout features. So if you click this button right here in Streamlabs OBS, it takes you to the layout feature. And if you scroll through this, you can see there are a bunch of different layouts that you can select. And the nice thing about this is you can actually change the locations of the pieces in the layout if you like one better than the other. When you find a layout you like, you can click Save Changes, and there you go, you see that layout featured in your recording screen. Now I generally use this layout here. It's basically the same as the one you get in OBS Studio, and it's just what I'm most familiar with. The other thing that OBS Studio does have is if you click this little bar graph in the bottom left hand corner, it pops out some statistics, so you could take a look at how your stream is performing while it's going on. This basically shows you the same information that you're going to get in OBS Studios in the bottom right hand corner. Now let's take a look at OBS Studios layout. You can see I have it basically set up in the same manner as the other one. But all you have to do to pop one of these out and move them around is click the little box in the left hand corner of each of the panels. Then you can just drag it around. I can place it here on the left hand side, or I can put it back down where I had it before. And if you get stuck, you can always reset the UI so it goes back to exactly the way you had it in the first place. And you can also add the stats to your dock. And I really like this because in Streamlabs OBS, they have a stats window, but it pops up. So it's not something you can embed in the UI. And this gives you a lot more detailed information about the average time to render a frame and the frames missed during rendering. Basically, in the bottom right hand corner, you have all the information when you go live that you get in Streamlabs OBS pop-out stat screen. So you don't even need this UI if you just want to have the same information that you're getting in Streamlabs OBS. It's all going to be listed right down here in the bottom. That covers the different layout options you get with each software. Now let's take a look at Studio Mode. I really like Studio Mode. It's something that you can use to organize a scene before you push it live. So if you wanted to add text that was relevant to something you're talking about now, while you're live streaming, you can just build that scene right on the left-hand side and push it live to the right. In Streamlabs OBS, to activate Studio Mode, you just click this little 3-bar button on the left-hand side. And there you go. You see the left panel says Edit and the right panel says Live. So anytime you choose a different scene from the main window, it will show up here in the Edit. And then you just click Transition to go from one scene to the next. Now the one thing that's different about Streamlabs OBS is it doesn't give you the ability to choose between different transitions if you want to. You basically select your transition and that's the one it goes with for every one. In order to change the transition that you want to use, you click this little gear button to the right of the main panel and it brings it up, and you can just select the radio button for each one. Now you can see when I select transition, it runs my door stinger transition. If you wanted to add another transition, you just click Add Transition. You go ahead and you select which one you want, set it up the way you want it, click Done, then click the little radial so that that transition is selected. And then when you hit the transition button, you're going to get the one that you just selected in the radio. Now in OBS Studio, you can select Studio Mode by going to the bottom right and clicking Studio Mode. I'm just going to resize this window to the left. You do that by clicking it, holding down your space bar and just using your little wheel on your mouse so I can resize it. You can see there is a transition panel in between our preview window and our program window. Other than that, this works exactly the same as what you see in Streamlabs OBS. But I really like this option because you can select which transition you want. You can add a transition to the list by just clicking the plus and deciding which one you want to add. So there's my door slam transition. Now I'm going to load a different window into the preview, and I can click whichever transition I want, and that's the one I'm going to get to go between scenes. So you can essentially select what transition you want between each scene. You don't have to go into any menus and select a different transition. It's all right here for you. And here I'll show you how the little slider works. I just go to this slider and I slide it over and boom. You get basically a fade transition, but it's pretty much however you want to structure it. And I think that's just really, really cool. The sources window in Streamlabs OBS is structured completely different than the one in OBS Studio. When you click this little plus button, it brings up a box. Now the stuff that's listed as standard is exactly the same as what you're going to find in OBS Studio. The difference is, to the right of that, you have all the widgets that are built into the Streamlabs software. And this makes it really easy to add widgets like the alert box, the chat box, the jar, the event list, or any other widget that you want to add. It's not quite so easy in OBS Studio, but it's still possible. So all you have to do to add any of these things is select them and then go to add source. And then that basically follows through the exact same process that you're going to get in OBS Studio. So just to show you the difference, here is the OBS Studio sources window. When I click on the little plus, I get this pop-up menu, and it has all the same stuff that you see in standard over in Streamlabs OBS. Now, if you wanted to add any of those widgets, it's really easy to do just by selecting Browser. They're not built in, so you have to copy the link out from the widget source that you want to use and paste it in Browser. But that's really the only difference. And you can see I already have a lot of these sources added in here. I have the alert, the chat, I have a countdown, a donation, a viewers, and all that sort of stuff. So you can add third-party widgets in here that don't have to be Streamlabs OBS widgets. But you can also add third-party widgets in Streamlabs OBS by clicking the same thing, the browser source. So that's the major differences when you're adding sources. Let's take a look at Streamlabs OBS Settings Menu. In general, you have a couple of new options. You have Restart Streamlabs, you have Configured Default Devices, which is kind of interesting, and you also have a button to import all your OBS Studio scenes and settings and everything. And it works really well. It's super easy to use. Under Stream, needless to say, if you've already set this up in Streamlabs, it's automatically going to connect to this. You can change which sources you're connected to if you wanted to stream to Twitch instead of YouTube or something like that by clicking this button in the bottom left-hand corner, and it will allow you to log out and log in to a different source. Under the Output menu, it has basically all the same options. You have your simple output mode or your advanced. All the settings here are nearly identical to exactly what you're going to find in OBS Studio. Audio is identical. In video, you can drop this down and select the resolution for your canvas and for your output. And all the basic options are exactly what you're going to find in OBS Studio. Under hotkeys, you can set hotkeys for all kinds of different functions. This menu is exactly the same in OBS Studio as well. Under advanced, you're going to find pretty much the same settings in both softwares. Scene selection. This one's pretty cool. You can export or import overlay files, and you can import a widget file into your current scene. Now, I've never actually used any of these options or features, and for the most part, the ones at the top, export overlay file and import overlay file, are for scenes that you create that you may want to sell on the theme store through Streamlabs OBS. That's pretty cool stuff. Under notifications, this is where you can set it up so it will tell you if something is going wrong with the stream. You can set your percentages for dropped frames and skipped frames and lagged frames and all that sort of stuff so that it will warn you when you drop below those thresholds. Under appearance, you can change from night mode to day mode. Day mode is pretty bright. I'm not sure I'm a big fan, but it is an option. Under remote control, This is an awesome feature that allows you to control your Streamlabs OBS right from your phone. I'm going to be doing a follow-up video on how to do this in the future, but for now, just know this option exists and it's really easy to set up. Now let's take a look at our OBS Settings menu. That is down here in the bottom right-hand corner. I just click Settings. You can see the general settings is basically the same as what you have in the other one, but you don't have the import button. Stream, you just set up your stream in here. It's really easy to do. It looks a little bit different because it allows you to set it up right here directly, whereas the other one comes from the Streamlabs OBS menus that you've set up on their website. In output, you can see you have advanced and standard, exactly the same setting options that you have in Streamlabs OBS. Under audio, you're going to notice it's the identical menu. In video, it's basically identical, but you do have an added feature here. I can go into my base canvas size and type in whatever I want. So if I'm going to be broadcasting to something like Instagram, I can change it from 1920 by 1080 to 1080 by 1920. I can change up the output scaled resolution as well manually, so I can have this set up any way I want. Streamlabs OBS doesn't give you those options. You get what you get. Under hotkeys, the menu is almost exactly the same, and under advanced, the menus are almost identical. So that's what you're going to get in the settings menu for both of these softwares. Now I'm going to go over a few of Streamlabs OBS additional features, and some of these are really cool. On the left-hand side, right below your broadcast window, you have your themes. And I'm telling you something right now, if you're a subscriber to Streamlabs OBS Prime, you have access to amazing overlays that are going to make your stream look professional the very first time you stream. And they're so easy to add. Most of these overlays have really amazing animations, so you have all kinds of different animated alerts and that sort of stuff that you can set up. For the price, these themes are amazing, and they're going to make your live streams look like you've been a professional broadcaster for years. It really is the fast track to have an absolutely amazing looking live stream. And if you go down a little below scenes, you're going to see a very cool option that takes you to an app store. And there are all kinds of apps that you can add. This will help you create widgets, or there are different ways to stream. Things like Mob Crush that allows you to stream to multiple platforms. And all of this stuff is included with a membership to Streamlabs Prime. And I'm going to show you here what Streamlabs Prime costs. You can see it's $12.42 per month on an annual basis if you pay annually, which is $150 for an entire year, or it's $19 a month if you just want to try it out for a month or two. And I'd be hard pressed to say that those overlays and the add-ons you get with the App Store aren't worth it. If you just want to get off to a really fast start with a professional broadcast to live stream, you'd be hard pressed to find a way to do it for less money. It's really incredible stuff. Another amazingly cool addition to Streamlabs OBS are the chat features. If you click this little chat button, you see it adds mod tools, modules, which will add chat alerts and mini games and ways for your viewers to share media and all kinds of other cool things. You can add custom commands. Timers, just like any other chatbot, allow you to put text into the chat at different intervals. You can run a giveaway if you set up a merch store inside Streamlabs OBS. You can set up other people to manage these chatbots. You can create custom polls for your live stream. If you select Importer, you can import other chatbots if you use Nightbot or something like that. I mean, it's just a really cool full-featured chatbot that you get already integrated with the software. I really like that. Now I'm going to go up and show you another cool feature. If you click the broadcast and you go over to the right and you click this arrow, you see it pops out this awesome little chat viewer right here. So you can view all of your chats right here in Streamlabs OBS. It makes it so easy to interact with your audience. And that is a super cool feature. So what is the down low on these softwares? Which one is best for you? In a lot of ways, it depends on what sort of computer you're actually going to be running this on. If you have a pretty new Mac that has no problems whatsoever using Streamlabs OBS, then I recommend Streamlabs OBS just because it's easier and it has a lot of the features built right into the platform. There are some things I don't like as much in Streamlabs OBS as I do in OBS Studio, but I'd be willing to forgive it if I could actually run it on my laptop, and that's where we run into the problem. If you're using older hardware like I am, Streamlabs OBS takes up a much bigger footprint. The most I can get out of my current hardware with Streamlabs OBS is 720 and 30 frames per second, whereas I can stream in full HD 1920 by 1080 and 30 frames per second on OBS Studio without too many hiccups. And this is really just a product of the fact that Streamlabs OBS has just taken the bones of OBS Studio and kind of added on top of it. And it's not to say that it's bloated, because I think they've really done the best that they can to streamline it. But it does take up a bigger CPU footprint, which means that you're going to need a better machine to really run the kind of stream you might want to run. So given the choice between the two, if you have a machine that will run Streamlabs OBS in 1920 by 1080 at least 30 frames per second, it's probably the better choice. But some of us, like myself, don't have that choice. We're using older equipment, and in my case, I pretty much have to run OBS Studio just because I want to have a quality stream without a lot of hiccups. And OBS Studio's lighter footprint for the CPU is really the only way I can do it. Which one of these pieces of software do you prefer? If you've used both, let me know in the comments which one you like better and why. If you want to know how to create an awesome overlay for free in your live streams, you should check this video out right here. And if you're always looking for tools, tips, and tricks that can help make you a better YouTuber, subscribe to the channel. My name is Michael Fira Jr. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.